legislature on bills that impact the church, the morality of the country or the state. And he drove down this morning from Marion. His wife is currently battling with shingles, so keep her in your prayers. But without further ado, Bill Wheeler, who has been here several times, knows many of you. Bill will be talking about his work at the legislature in the class, and then we'll present the sermon this morning. Bill?
Good morning. It's good to be in Monticello, America today. And especially since I left home at 5:45, it's good to be here. I want to say something. I don't often get to correct an elder, but I'm going to get to this morning. I work with Families First Foundation. I know Eddie Clore and all the other guys there at Searcy very well, and I would be honored to represent them. But I don't work with Truth for Today. I work with Families First Foundation. Families First began in 1994. Several of our brothers were involved in a lottery campaign, a casino campaign at the time. And we met at the Capitol in Little Rock, discovered that we were all doing the same thing, but we were in different parts of the country. And so we had a meeting and we thought, well, it would be a good thing if we could try to encourage churches around the state to become involved in those moral issues that confront the family. And so we operated that way for 3 years, and finally we were in a meeting together again in Little Rock, and in that discussion, one of the guys said, you know what we really need is to find somebody to work full-time with Families First. And Leo Rainey, who worked with the Arkansas Extension Service for years, said, well, Bill, you're somebody. So that was really the encouragement that I got to begin work with Families First Foundation. I don't know how many legislative sessions since 1997 that I have attended, but it's a bunch of them. The issues that we would deal with, moral issues, usually would occur in the general sessions, which meets every other year, odd year. So there were several sessions that I have been involved with that. When I first started, we tried to stay in Little Rock for the entire session, but that became too expensive, so we just commuted after about 4 or 5 years of that. The landscape of Families First Foundation has changed quite a bit since I was here the last time to talk with you about this ministry. In thinking about a basis for what we do, one of the things that we talked about early on was the message that Paul shared in 1 Timothy 3, and he talked to the church about hoping to come and be with them soon. And he said in verses 14 and 15, these things write I unto thee, hoping to come unto thee shortly. But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the family of God, the church of the living God, the pillar and ground of the truth. So before the discussion even on the ecclesia, the called out, and the discovery of and sharing of the pillar and ground of truth, Paul identified the church first in his discussion as family, the household of God. Church is first and foremost a family. If the church isn't family, it isn't church. Now, I'm not saying that it is more important than being the called out and that we fulfill that responsibility. It's not more important than our discovery of truth and our sharing of truth. But it is very important that we keep in mind that we are family. And as we think of family then, this led us to consider the impact of moral issues in our state. And we were wondering, can we have a greater impact in that family arena? We couldn't replace the church, and we didn't go to Little Rock thinking that we go there representing the church. We didn't. We went there representing each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. We spoke the things that we would teach in our congregations, but we didn't go there saying, well, I'm from the Church of Christ and this is what we believe. We tried to represent folks across the state of Arkansas who were Christians. At that time, there were supposed to be 720 congregations in the state. Really, I think it was closer to 500, 550. But there were 66,000 members of the body of Christ in Arkansas. That is a good, sizable number, even though numerically we may not rank with some of the denominations around the state. But 66,000 voices are voices that need to be heard. And in expressing a biblical view, we thought that was really important, that the biblical message would come across in regard to the moral issues. We have dealt mostly with gambling issues, alcohol addiction issues, lottery, and on and on. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about today, one of the major issues that we are facing in the state of Arkansas, again, is the idea of abortion. It was way back in 2008 in the Discipleship Journal that they viewed the religious community in America and stated that 46% of the people who attended religious services believed that abortion was not a sin. I think it's one of the greatest issues that we face because it is a matter of sanctity of life, taking the life away. I don't know how many sessions we have spent with abortion issues. There will always be a number of them come up during any session. And this is an ongoing matter. But the thing that is facing us today, and the thing that I want to talk with you for a little while about, is the deceptiveness of hoping they will get it on the ballot. There is a group circulating a petition at this point, and they are called Arkansans for Limited Government. Now that sounds okay to a lot of us. Probably there are people here who would say, oh, that's a good thing. But it's not a good thing because it is an abortion issue. Through the years, Arkansas has become the best state in the nation in regard to abortions. There are fewer abortions performed in the state of Arkansas than any state in the United States. So the abortion laws are on the books and pretty firm. Arkansans for Limited Government would obliterate practically every abortion law that is on our books in the state of Arkansas. They are circulating petitions now and hoping to gather over 90,000 signatures. And I can tell you that as of this date, they only have around 10,000 signatures. They have until July to get 90,000 signatures on their petitions. I don't know whether they've been into your community yet or not. Has anyone been faced with any individual wanting you to sign a petition to get Arkansans for Limited Government on the November ballot? Well, they will be here. They will be here. And one of the things that we are trying to do is to encourage people simply decline to sign. It is very deceptive and very deceiving. It says one thing, but it is trying to bring about something else. It was in 1 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 32. The children of Issachar were among the folks gathering at Hebron to make David king of Israel, replacing Saul. And there were individuals from all of the tribes. But in chapter 12 and verse 32, I think that's the correct verse, it says that there were men from the tribe of Issachar who came, and they were representatives because they understood the times and knew what Israel should do. Kerry, are you looking at that verse? Am I? Yeah, good. I thought you were. I think it's 1 Chronicles 12:32. Is that right? Okay. Men of Issachar, because they understood the times and knew what they should do. What I'm saying to you is that this is a moral, biblical issue. Abortion is not a political party issue. It has been made for people to believe that, but it isn't. It's not a Democratic. It's not a Republican issue. Abortion is a biblical issue. It is the sanctity of life. Everyone who promotes abortion had someone in their life who didn't believe in abortion, or they wouldn't be where they are. When I was conceived, my mother and dad were told that both of us could not survive, and that they needed to make a decision. That was all the way back in 42. That is 1900, by the way. I just look like I came from the 1800s. But my mom and dad were told that they had an issue before them. It was never an issue with my mom or my dad. And as you can see, I've made it for 82 years. I'm thankful that my parents believed in the sanctity of life. Even though Arkansas is the best state in our United States, if we could save the life of one little child in doing everything that we could do, understanding the times, and know what we ought to do, would that not be worth it? Would the life of one child be worth it? If you go to the other end of that spectrum, those of us who are my age and maybe a little younger and some a little older, what's the difference in euthanasia for us because we're pretty well worn out? What's the difference in taking it at 82 or when the child is conceived? So I guess one of the things that I want to say to you today, and it is the main issue that I want to discuss, there are other things that will be coming up, but there's not anything right now that's just really pressing. We will be in meetings in Little Rock next week to talk about what congregations around the state can do, and I'm hoping to be able to provide you with some written information from that and encouragements to at least make everyone aware in the Monticello community that it is really not Arkansans for limited government. It is Arkansans who want to obliterate the abortion laws that are already on our books. I don't want to come across hateful. I don't want to seem like that I don't care for people who believe in abortion. We hate the sin. We love the sinners. And this is something that it touches many of our congregations. I wouldn't ask here and wouldn't want it to be talked openly, I guess. But about every congregation that I know has that in their compositions in some way or another. A family member And so there are times when it's very open with us, and I know what it is to be standing at the front of an auditorium like I am sitting in the front of this one, or back, or wherever I am, and watch a young couple come down the aisle. Their hearts are broken. Prior to their marriage, a little child conceived, and they sought an abortion, became Christians, and are living with that scar for the rest of their life. The troubles and difficulties that they have, they struggle with it, and this couple tried to keep it from their families for so long. It is prevalent among those of us who profess Christianity. It is at home with us. We are closer to it than we realize. I just want to encourage you, when you are confronted, and you will be, please respond lovingly, as a Christian should, and if you have the opportunity, say something in favor of the unborn. Let them know that you stand in opposition to such a move. It is a moral issue. It is a biblical issue. I hope that it's one that you will give serious consideration to, and as you understand the time, that you know what to do. I said that the landscape of Families First Foundation and our ministry has changed considerably. Actually, I work very little I'm not working in what I call the political arena. I'm no longer attending the sessions in Little Rock. We hired another individual who lives in Mountain Home. His name is Alan Talbert. Alan was an elder of the Crossroad congregation just close to Mountain Home. If any of you know the region up there, there is a huge community out there that their population is 6 on their sign. It's called Jeep. Anybody here know where Jeep is? Well, that's not important, but that's where Alan lives, and he was an elder there. He now preaches at Viola, which is not far from there. And Alan does our legislative work. Alan was supposed to come with me this morning. I was going to meet him in Little Rock and bring him with me, and I wanted him to share with you in the class, because he has attended the sessions and the meetings in regard to this issue that I've discussed. The major ones will begin next week, but Alan had 3 funerals this weekend, and so he was unable to come with me today. But that's one of the things that has changed with the composition and ministry of Families First. We do have someone else. He lives in north central Arkansas, and that's his primary responsibilities. My responsibilities now has changed somewhat, and certainly I work in an area that suits me far more than going to Little Rock. I never enjoyed that work. I was out of my element. I felt like I didn't belong, but we felt like the work needed to be done. I now work out of 4 offices in 4 different counties. We have an office in Crittenden County, Marion. I have an office in Wynne, where we live now. And we have an office in Harrisburg, which is just the county up above us. And we have an office at Hoxie, where I preach on Sundays. And so I'm counseling from all 4 areas. And since COVID, the media has, social media has become more prominent for us in dealing with people in counseling sessions. I don't favor that as much. I would rather be face to face with someone rather than on the telephone. And I do deal with people all over the state of Arkansas. I have dealt with folks that are not members of the congregation in Monticello. So even though we are many miles away from you, we do have an opportunity to try to make an impact for families. And I do have a degree in counseling, and I have a degree in New Testament from Harding Graduate School, and then one in counseling. And so we had a background in this years and years ago. And this fits me better. And I feel like that we've been able to accomplish a great deal more. I can't say I enjoy working with families that are hurting, but I am grateful that we have the opportunity to share with people and to encourage them. We had more than 100 individuals last year, and we were able to share with them numerous times, some of them 7 or 8 sessions, and there was no charge to them for the counseling because of people like you who have shared with us loyally in funding Families First ministry. And so I'm very grateful to you for all that you have done and that you are doing. And I regret that it has been, Larry says it's been 5 years since I have been here. I was here for your dedication. And he says that's 5 years ago because you're about ready to deal with that balloon note, and so you all need to start getting your checkbooks, in order. And yeah, if you want to do that, that'd be great. I'm assuming maybe that my time is, I've got 10 minutes. Well, I don't have 10 more minutes to say, so I don't know any more than what I've said, and I don't know that well. Do you have a question about Families First Foundation that Larry might answer? Go ahead, sir.
On the abortion issue, do you have a figure, a percentage or anything of how many of those are unwed mothers? How many abortions are unwed mothers?
I don't have that, but I have access to it, and I could get that. We work a lot with Arkansas Right to Life, and on their website they have that information. They break down every county in the state, and I don't know that percentage, Larry, but I can say that it's lower in Arkansas than it is anywhere else, which is a blessing, but one is still too many. Someone else. Well, I have either told you everything you want to know, or I have just confused you completely. That's all I really want to deal with today. I don't want to talk a whole lot about the other situation. I don't want to belabor that. Just be aware that it is one of the biggest issues that we will face in the November election. And so I want to encourage you not to be one of the ones that signs that petition that is very, very misleading.
Do you know if there's going to be any ads out that informs people?
Yes. In fact, the movement is called Decline to Sign. And that's what the meetings in Little Rock are. I won't be there, but Alan will, and there will be others that will find out, what's going to be going on all around the state in all religious groups. But we will know we will have materials that we can get in your hands. Obviously, you don't have any voting issues coming up between now and the next little while, do you, in Monticello area? There were some who were able to go to the polls earlier, and that it was just underway, and so we didn't know a whole lot about it until just recently. So it's not a thing that is known by a whole lot of people, but we can do our part. We can do a lot in encouraging folks to decline to sign. But we will get that information here. Men who understood the times and knew what Israel should do. I'm encouraging you to understand your time and know what you can do and do it. That's our encouragement. Thank you for allowing me to be here in class this morning. I hope that, I wasn't prepared for the presentation, but I hope that we have shared with you enough info that can at least get your attention, and hopefully we can get some information into the community as soon as possible. Thank you very much.